But really, you know, everybody, let's look up. Let's not look down. Let's look ahead and not look back. Let's think about how we can be better and how we can keep getting better. So with that, thank you all very much, and we're going to have a little fun tonight. Thank you.
Marlon Guzman, the four-term incumbent Orleans criminal sheriff, conceding the race tonight to political newcomer Susan Hudson. Marlon Guzman has been the sheriff for the past 17 years, and tonight looks like he goes down in defeat by about 8 percentage points as Susan Hudson, the former Orleans Parish independent police monitor, apparently has won this race tonight. The two candidates differed on a lot of issues throughout the campaign, namely whether to build phase 3 of the sprawling Orleans Correctional Center. Now, the incumbent said that it was needed to treat the mental health needs of the inmates, and the now sheriff-elect said that it was too expensive and that they could better maybe retrofit one of the areas of the jail that weren't being used for that same purpose. So again, tonight we are at the historic Carver Theater in Treme, and it looks like it is a historic night here in New Orleans as Susan Hudson apparently will win this race and become the first woman to hold the position of Orleans criminal sheriff here in New Orleans. It has been a quiet night here at the theater where both candidates were trading the lead back and forth, but within the last 45 minutes or so, it has been all Susan Hudson pulling away. That's the story here in Treme. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Paul. And we're going to have Clancy here. We're going to talk a little bit about this. And she won. She didn't spend a whole heck of a lot of her own money.
Mm-hmm. No, well, she loaned her campaign some money, but her campaign actually had about $70,000 as of the last campaign finance report. And you had about 20 times that, literally, coming in from PACs, political action committees, and so-called dark money, progressive groups outside Louisiana, which have been doing this all over the country. They've been trying to elect progressive prosecutors and mayors and sheriffs, law enforcement people all over the country. And they have done it. They did it a year ago here in New Orleans when they helped elect our new DA, or not so new anymore, Jason Williams, last December, and they did it again tonight. Mm-hmm. They put in well over $1 million behind Susan Hudson and in favor of a few other candidates, but the main target for them was Marlon Guzman, and they took him out tonight by about 4,000 votes.
Yeah, 17 years for Guzman. What are voters saying now after 17 years moving over and moving forward with Susan Hudson?
Well, I think it was a reflection of the money that was spent. I mean, there's an old saying, money is the mother's milk of politics, and Guzman just got overwhelmed. And truth is, he didn't wage much of a campaign in the primary. You look at the two incumbents who lost tonight. Well, there were 3 who lost. All 3 of them ran fairly weak or not very aggressive campaigns in the primary. And it's hard to win a race, even if you're an incumbent. I'm talking about Marlon Guzman, Jay Banks in City Council District B, and Cyndi Nguyen in Council District E. They all lost. So it's been a very bad night for incumbents, but none of them really waged an aggressive campaign in the primary, and their opponents did. Mm-hmm. So it's like you can't just play the second half, like in a football game. You got to play all 4 quarters, or at least both halves.
And Sharice, you mentioned earlier the council's going to have a lot, it's going to look a lot differently, and that's not really going to play to the advantage of the mayor.
No, the mayor, all second-term mayors in New Orleans have a tough time with the council because the mayors are term limited, and you have several council members always who are looking to run for mayor. And you don't run for mayor in an open race by being the pal of the outgoing mayor. Mm-hmm. History has taught us that. So it was already set up for LaToya Cantrell not to have a smooth ride in her next 4 years. But when Jay Banks lost tonight, he was her staunchest, most reliable council ally. And she put a lot of her political capital in this runoff behind him, and he lost convincingly. I should say Lesli Harris won convincingly.
Well, those who she put support behind, do we have any of the candidates that
well, in
voted
District D, it's very close between Troy Glover and Eugene Greene. That's an open seat, and we still have 7 precincts out. Eugene Greene is ahead by 76 votes, but we got to wait for those other 7 precincts to come in. And you know, we don't know, but the mayor went behind Glover. He's very narrowly trailing, but she had a strong ally in Cyndi Nguyen the last 4 years, and Nguyen has already gone down to defeat overwhelmingly, 58 to 42%, losing to former council member Oliver Thomas, who now holds the distinction of having represented 2 different districts on the city council.
All right, okay, well, as those numbers continue to come in, we're going to stay in New Orleans. 2 incumbent city council candidates, as we mentioned, as Clancy just mentioned, were defeated tonight.
And that includes District B, where Clancy has called Lesli B. Harris the winner. She beat Jay Banks. David Hammer joins us live now with more. David?
I'm here at the Ashe Powerhouse Theater, and I'm joined by political newcomer Lesli Harris, who has defeated Jay Banks in the District B runoff, and convincingly by more than 12 points, it looks like. So what are your thoughts about why you had this level of success?
I think that you can see from the people who are behind me that we had a wide coalition of folks who are ready for change in New Orleans. When I went around the district, everybody had the same problems. Streets, infrastructure, crime, everybody wants the same things, economic opportunity. And I think that message resonated with the people in District B.
Well, it's an interesting thing because the mayor won easily on the first round, but Jay Banks was her staunchest ally on the council. She tried to come out in favor of him at an event with the EPA earlier this week. Tried to put her force behind him, and you defeated him, it appears, pretty soundly. What do you think that says, and how does that fit in for you taking over at the council and your relationship with the mayor?
So listen, I'm a trained attorney. I know the rules of professionalism. I can work with anybody, as people know, and people who've worked with me know. I'm ready to roll my sleeves up and work with the mayor to make sure that this city pushes forward in a positive way so that we are serving the people of New Orleans and not our political interests.
And this campaign did get pretty nasty at the end. Jay Banks said that he was happy it was over. What do you have to say about a transition and working with him to take over?
I spoke with Jay early on, and he was gracious, and I'm ready to work with him to make sure that we transition smoothly so that we can, again, move the city forward. We both want the same thing. We want New Orleans to succeed. We just have different viewpoints on how that can happen.
Well, and I did get a chance to speak to Jay Banks earlier this evening at his campaign headquarters. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I'm glad that this is over. This has been a torturous process. Being vilified for the last 6 months, being called everything but a child of God, man, it wore me down. And at this point, I'm just glad it's over. Now, I wanted to win. I would have hoped to have won, but since that didn't happen, c'est la vie. I'm just glad this is done and we can move on. And I look forward to helping Lesli do the best job that she can be in whatever capacity I can do that. I need her to be successful. New Orleans is all that I have.
So there you can see Jay Banks gracious in defeat and saying that he will work with political newcomer Lesli Harris, a former chief of staff at Loyola University. For now, reporting from Central City, David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
All right, and in District E, incumbent Cyndi Nguyen, we talked about this, lost to former council member Oliver Thomas, who is back.
Yeah, this is seriously a political comeback story. Jade Cunningham joining us live with more on that race. Jade.
Hey, good evening, Sharice and Karen. Yeah, you know, this has been a very exciting night for Oliver Thomas and his campaign. You know, we have been here all night. People have been celebrating since the moment they walked through these doors, and especially when Oliver Thomas took the stage for his acceptance speech. You know, there he was greeted with cheers and applause, and people just very excited about the announcement that Oliver Thomas will be District E council member. We are joined with him now. First and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I know that we talked before. You were very emotional when you took the stage. Tell us a little bit about what was behind that emotion.
I thought about my dad, my late dad, my son, who I buried years ago, my sister, my brother, I thought about them not being here with me, but being here in spirit with this moment. I thought about my life, you know, from what I've been through, and for the citizens to entrust me with this opportunity again. And I was wrought with emotion, but also with joy. A lot of it was tears of joy to have the opportunity and the trust of the public again, man. I'm looking forward to the challenge.
You were mentioning in your acceptance speech about that little hiccup you had previously.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what this night means for you, because this is quite the comeback for you.
Well, this night to me, it wasn't just about me. If the citizens are going to trust me, give me a title of leader in this community, there are men and women all over this community, all over the city, black boys and girls and men and women, who deserve another chance, who have worked hard, paid their debt to society, and they deserve an opportunity. We should not think we can grow our society, our nation, and this town through subtraction. We need to add everybody who wants to contribute, and I represent them.
You are ready to make District E shine, you said. So what's at stake? What are you going to be doing?
Man, well, first of all, we have to be safe. Our citizens right now have gone through a lot. We want to work with our police chief, with our mayor, with law enforcement agencies to make sure folk can go to the store, go to the gas station, go to their front door, drive their cars. So we have to do that, as well as providing opportunity. We cannot continue to stuff growth and development downtown or in the French Quarter. We're damaging the critical infrastructure there. New Orleans East offers an opportunity for growth. Let's treat it like it's not east and west, but like it's part of the city. Go east, young man. There's opportunity out there. Waterways, wildlife preserve, business park. It's an opportunity. Let's invest and let's grow. New Orleans in this region has to grow. If we're going to keep pace with the rest of the Gulf South and the rest of the nation, we have to grow. New Orleans East provides that opportunity.
What is it going to mean for you to walk into the council chambers for that first time?
It's going to mean a lot. It really does. But it means a lot to me every time I walk in the Lower Ninth Ward, where I'm from. Every time I walk in New Orleans East or Joe Brown Park. Every time I walk into a meeting with some of the great leaders out here. All of it means a lot. But it also means that we're going to get to work with the council, with the mayor, with our administration to make the city better.
And I guess I shouldn't say first time, because you obviously have been there before, but this will be different for you, I'm very sure.
This will be different. It'll be emotional, but it'll be exceptional. An exceptional opportunity to put the city and its citizens first and make sure we're working on their behalf.
Your message tonight to your constituents?
We're not going to spare any thought, any idea, any opportunity, or any iota of energy to fight for the people in District E. You have a partnership, and you're going to have a team that's going to fight on their behalf, that wants to make sure District E means excellence.
Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You just heard it from the newly elected council member, District E, Oliver Thomas. You know, we of course have been following this race from the very beginning. It's been an interesting one to follow, because we have been trying to see and waiting to see who would come out on top. We now know, as we all know, Oliver Thomas will be council member District E. And he says work starts first thing tomorrow, but tonight is all about celebrating. Reporting live, Jay Cunningham, Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Truly a political, again, comeback story for Oliver Thomas. I understand why he was overwhelmed with emotion.
Right. He wears his heart on his sleeve, Clancy. And
we got to make a call. Not even a call. The results are in. Eugene Greene has won by a margin of literally 60 votes. So if you think every vote doesn't count, take a look in District D. Wow. We have 100% of the votes in, all 78 precincts. Eugene Greene has won. It's been a long, let me talk about this race just for a little bit, then I'll get back to Oliver Thomas. Eugene Greene has run for office probably close to a half dozen times, and he's always had a lot of support. People respect him. He was a former economic development head of economic development for Mayor Mark Morial. He's held positions on staffs in Washington. He's worked on boards and commissions. But every time he would lose in the runoff, he would always make the cut and then get overtaken by someone younger or get a surprise upset. This was finally his time, but he won, not by a lot, but unless there's a mistake in the counting, which I haven't seen before, but you know, there's always a first time, and I'm not wishing that on anybody, but right now it looks like he has won with 50.5 2% of the vote. So congratulations to Eugene Greene. His ship has finally come in politically, but hats off to Troy Glover, who a first-time candidate, former president of the St. Roch Neighborhood Association, out of the blocks, had, again, like Susan Hudson, got tremendous amount of support from progressive groups from around the country, and that young man has a very bright future. He's one of the youngest candidates in any of the races this election cycle. So, you know, we're going to see and hear more from Troy Glover in the years to come. And Eugene Greene, who was kind of the establishment candidate, if you will, but both of them had a lot of supports, but Eugene Greene has won that race, and I want to get that news out there right away.
Well, right. And here's Eugene Greene right now actually taking to the podium. Let's take a listen.
For their participation. We always want to see higher numbers. We want to see 100% participation. I'm one of those who votes all the time. But it's just good that so many people came out and expressed and executed their right to vote in our city, and I'm just so pleased. I want to thank those who are here, but I want to also thank some folks who are close to me. My wife. Right, smart. I'm a smart guy. Look, my assistant campaign manager, Eugene, my son. Little Chloe, who helped out so much with the young person's vote. Sandra Thomas, my campaign manager. Jonathan Green. And look, I am so pleased to just have an opportunity to be here before you today. I really enjoy living in the city of New Orleans, and the things that I've done over the years, participating in various boards, serving as the head of economic development under Mayor Morial, as the chief of staff under Congressman Jefferson, as the head of the regional business park, building my own business is because I enjoy living in New Orleans. And the reason that I get involved with the public sector is that I want more citizens to enjoy and be able to take advantage of some of the benefits that there are in living in the city of New Orleans. So many times I think we talk about the negative where we forget that there are so many positives. My two sons, for example, went away to school, St. John's University, Hampton in Virginia, and then came back to the city of New Orleans because they enjoy living here. There is a lot going on that's positive, and boy, what an opportunity for me to represent the district in which I grew up. And guess where we are today, everyone who is watching me, in Pontchartrain Park, the National Historic Register community in which I grew up. This district has so much to offer. Pontchartrain Park, the lakefront, university, SUNO, UNO, Dillard University, also the Baptist Theological Seminary, some great parks, some great subdivisions, including the one in which I live, the Gentilly Terrace subdivision. I am just pleased to have an opportunity to be a representative of those who live here in District D and in the city of New Orleans, in which I enjoy living. There's a lot that we still have to do in our city. There is a great emphasis, and we need to put a great emphasis on public safety, eradicating the crime that is really something that we need to address every day in our city. But we are going to. There's a good future ahead for us in that regard. Economic development, we want to create more jobs in our city and more economic opportunity. And I'm pleased that over the years, I've had a chance to participate with other New Orleanians in making jobs available in our city. But this is a time to reflect and just tell you it's been a long road. And I want to congratulate Troy Glover, who is, let's give him a round of applause. What a race he ran, and he's new, and he's got a great future in terms of in terms of the things that he's passionate about. But I'm going to rest for a second because with Hurricane Ida extending this election a month, and with just what has gone on over the past few months in terms of the forums and getting to meet so many new people, I'm just pleased and look forward to the opportunity to rest tomorrow. And don't call me during the Saints game. I'm going to be relaxing finally. But let me take an opportunity also to, it's hard when you recognize folks because you don't recognize everyone. But it's important to understand that there are others who helped me tremendously. Lionel Scott, who was with me so often and almost every day. Come over, Lionel Scott, a little bit. Look at these young people who are around me, everybody. Look at Lionel Scott.
All right, and there you have it. We're going to turn around and call a couple of races here.
Yeah.
Clancy,
the
you're ready
housing initiative, the renewing the property tax for our neighborhood housing improvement project is Neighborhood Housing Improvement Fund, I should say, is going down to defeat narrowly by about 600 votes. There are 15 precincts still out, but that's irrelevant. There's not that many votes out there to pull it over the top. So we've now called all of them.
And we talked about this a little bit earlier. You called it Freddie King for District C.
Yes, long time ago. He won huge. Freddie King won by a big margin, something like 62% to 38%.
Yeah, 62 to 38% for Stephanie Bridges. Was that? You said that was expected.
He was the favorite before qualifying. He remained the favorite throughout.